I got to ask about this film because it's an interesting role because you play the role of this kind of executive within this news department of sorts. I don't know. And was that interesting for you to kind of do research and go in and see how it's done?
Yeah, because I've always been a consumer and a fan of those shows. I've watched a lot of those shows and then been on them, and they've been nice to me, and so I've always had a good feeling about them. And then, yeah, I was going to get to do this, and just reading it was a little research because it was well investigated before, during the writing. And then they put me together with Phil Griffin, you know, who runs MSNBC. So in these recent years, and that was fascinating to me. So not only did I see, you know, Willie Geist, you know, and do it from the back, doing his show a little bit, but I went through the script with him. He was very generous, spent 2-3 hours with me, and I said, oh yeah, here's what your life would be like, and here's what you're thinking about and talking about with the ratings issue here, and and here are the more details about that. And then he told me all kind of fascinating backstage, you know, dramas and comedies that go on that you must know all about.
I love that kind of upstairs downstairs of like the world of anything, really. I mean, yeah. So to be able to channel him, then were there any affectations of his that you kind of maybe picked up or maybe and used for your own performance, or?
Phil's not consciously. I don't think so. I kind of made up the. You know, the behavior of it, but you know, he gave me the essence of the thinking of it. More importantly, the essence of the thinking of it, and much of the vibe of it, you know, which went into it. But then Roger Michell, director, very good. You know, I'd like Notting Hill. I was a fan of Notting Hill, and he was very good. We worked. You know, we had a rehearsal day with me and Rachel, and he had. I trusted him also immediately. He inspires confidence and trust. He's very sweet, very smart, and you know, we'd put it together on the meet. Say, well, try this and do a little of that and do a little of that. He was very good.
I would assume that as an actor, you probably had your fair share of going on to a morning talk show and maybe hawking some kind of film, but also having to do some crazy stuff. I'm just wondering if you have any wonderful, like, kind of anecdotes of maybe the craziest of your experiences?
Well, geez, I'd have to rifle, if that's the word, I want my memory for a second, but off the top of my head, you know, I'm going to do the Today Show later this week again. I've always had a good time doing those, and I'm going to do Martha Stewart for the second time. So Martha Stewart this week, I probably shouldn't give it away, we're going to make some kind of ravioli-like thing with a phyllo crust and ask her about all my cooking questions. I think it'd be a good opportunity. But the last time I did it once before, and it was near the holidays once again. We made a menorah, a homemade menorah, which is the Jewish people. We have it's a candelabra where you note these 8 days of Hanukkah, or as you would say, Hanukkah. Yeah. So I did that with her. That was kind of funny. It was a free-form sort of twig. She'd found some twigs, and we made a kind of a free-form menorah out of that.
Probably from her backyard of sorts.
It might have been. She's so resourceful and creative. Isn't she a wondrous wonder of the world and force of nature?